right, you all. Thank you for another episode of Boss Up with Mr. Key, the real estate edition. This story right here, I want to make this one more of a personal story. I want to talk about my plight in real estate, and maybe it'll inspire some others out there to keep going. I hear a lot of agents are suffering or having a hard time. And so I just want them to know that, hey, there is a silver lining there. Where there is a will, there is a way. And let's talk about my story really quick. Again, like, comment, subscribe, share, however you listen to this, however you hear it. You may say, oh, that podcast is weak, whatever. You may say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but make sure whatever you say, make sure you let the public know. Say it to the world. Say it to the comments. Send me a DM, a messenger, or whatever you have. But anyway, let's just talk a little bit. We talk about real estate. I mean, I've always been interested in real estate. I have family members that own properties. My grandmother even was a landlord, and she took us to go collect rents, and family members lived in it. It was on 43rd and Shields. I remember that house. For people that know Chicago streets, that's on the low end of Chicago. And so my grandparents had this house that they either inherited or bought, and they became landlords. So again, I've always seen real estate as a way of having some kind of financial freedom, making an investment in yourself that could be passed down for generations. And so fast forward, I moved to Texas, became a real estate agent, and it was tough. It was definitely tough. You always see real estate agents with the newest, latest cars, dress well, in suits and ties. Me, I came from corporate America, where they always told me, hey, you need to wear like a button up, a button down, a tie, and I just never really wanted to have anybody tell me how to dress, what to do. And so good thing about real estate, especially here in Austin, it's so laid back, man. Sometimes I do put on the blazer, I do show out, but once my clients know me, we dress like real people down here, like every t-shirt, jeans, and gym shoes or sneakers, So anyway, I started my real estate business on the telephone. I basically invested some of my coins, and I got all the home phone numbers in Central Texas. And I got the fastest dialing system you can. So that system would dial 100 to 200 numbers in a minute. And when someone picks up, boom, it came to me. I had my headset, I had my laptop, I had that system, I had that magic dialer, and I just sat down and started calling people. At that time, however, most of the people that had a home phone were people who stayed at home a lot, mostly, seniors, elderly, some people on the cusp of that. And that's who I began having conversations with, finding out, hey, how do you like your neighborhood? How much has Austin changed? Most of these people lived in their houses 20, 30 years, and most of these people had a bunch of equity. Most of them even had paid off the house. So I was having conversations with these people, and we started talking about the possibilities of selling. And what I did, it wasn't overnight. I would talk to people. Some people would hang up in my fucking face. No soliciting. Stop calling me. If I get another call. But, I didn't take it personal. They don't know me. But the people that did talk to me and that did know me and knew that I had something to offer, because I would call with things to offer, they went into my database. And so I started building a database, and then I started getting people who were like, yeah, I want to sell. Come over and come talk to me. Or, hey, my family is thinking about selling Big Mama's house. Come talk to us. So it started happening. It didn't happen overnight. I kept putting in the work. I think one of my episodes, I talked about habits. I kept coming home after work when I was working corporate and making 2 hours a night getting on the phone, an hour a night getting on the phone, just calling people. And I built a database that way. And then I started getting some deals, and most of my listings back then were ugly old houses that were like people had lived in since the 60s and hadn't made many changes. But the investors loved me, and that had kind of started off my real estate career. And investors were like, how you keep finding these real estate deals in the parts that they wanted to, gentrify? But again, the good thing is that I took care of my clients that wanted to sell. I made sure they had good exit strategies. I wasn't just saying, hey, let us just sell your house and I don't give a damn what happens to you. But once I get the sale, it is what it is. But no, I wanted to make sure that they landed on their feet. I started picking up people that were seniors, pick up them and their kids sometimes. And like, hey, let's look at what the possibilities of what you can afford, something newer. We don't have to give up your legacy, but we could just convert it into a newer property, maybe a better and up and coming location. So like, that's what I did. And I started to build my business. And just like everything, I seen some success. I started reinvesting in myself, and then I hit a wall. I hit a wall where, there wasn't much business coming in. I didn't know what I was going to do. It got to the point where my savings were starting to dwindle. I was making sales, but they were, far and few in between. And like, I had got busy when our business was rolling. So I stopped the habit of making the phone calls, and business started to dry up, and I don't know what I expected. Like, oh, I'm good. I don't have to make calls anymore. But as business dried up, I started to kind of get a little depressed. I was like, man, how can I pay my mortgage? Like, at that point, my job had let me go. I was doing both, and they were like, we can't do both, Andre. The company was doing not so well. They let me go, and so I was full real estate. And I remember in my house, mortgage payments coming up. Like, I just didn't know what I was going to do. I was like, shit, I'm going to be living out of my car in a bit. And I just kind of went into my resting place. And when I woke up, it was like Friday night. I wasn't out partying, celebrating. I was stressed. And I woke up, Saturday morning, and something was like, hey, get on the phone, go to your desk, get on the phone, pull up Zillow, call a for sale by owner. So I was like, fuck it. Let me get up. I had a little script that I would use, but at this point, like, I knew that script was probably being sold to many agents. So I didn't want to sound the same. And I picked up the phone. This guy had for sale by owner, and I called him, and he was like, Andre, I'm sick of agents calling me, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, you know what? What if I told you that I'm different than other agents, that I could buy your house, or I can get you a deal right away? He was like, oh, okay, that sounds good. Come over. So I went over, built rapport. I had a list of investors that I had from selling like ugly homes from my, the beginning of my career. And I called them, and like 5 of them came to the house on one day. I scheduled them back to back to back. And at the same time, the seller, he needed to go. He needed to sell. He had some issues with the house. We agreed on a term that fit. And when he saw all those investors that I brought over, he was happy. I got an offer that day to close within 2 weeks. And let's just say I was able to make some money off of that. I made about $8,000. And at that point, my career took off. But I never forgot the core principle of getting back on the phone. That voice told me, hey, Andre, why the hell you're abandoning what you did to grow your business? You're never too good to pick up the phone. And that's what I did. And it just opened up the floodgates again. And, I kept going and I kept going, and I hadn't looked back. That was one obstacle, but that wasn't it. I've been in real estate for a while, as a landlord, as a real estate agent, as an investor. And there was another time when I was having the best year of my life selling properties. I had hired a few people. I was becoming a real boss, but I was working my ass off. I had my head down. I was working. I had a goal, but I wasn't really checking to see how close I was away from my goal. my mentality was like, hey, just run this race with your head down as fast as you could, as long as you could. And then when you had to stop and come up for air, then let's look and see what was happening. So I'm making transactions. I'm doing it. I'm going. I had a coach at that time. My coach was impressed. Like, what's going on, Dre? Like, you're doing great. Keep, double down. Whatever's working, double down. And I didn't realize that I was double downing on damn near killing myself. Yeah, like one night, I guess it was a Friday night again. This time, like I was negotiating some deals and I was trying to get everything set up before the weekend. And I drank a little bit of wine. And when I went to sleep, I woke up in the middle of the night and I went to the bathroom. And when I went to the bathroom, I stumbled and I staggered. And I was like, what the hell? I know I didn't drink that much. Why am I like walking like I'm tipsy? Like my depth perception was off. The floor looked like it was on an angle. The toilet looked far away, you know. And when I looked in the mirror, my right eye was shut. It's like, what the hell? I opened it up and my eyeball on my pupil was just like wandering, like it wasn't even looking straight. It was like looking down in my head or something. So I was like, damn, what the fuck's going on? You know, so I just went back to sleep. I chalked it off as, hey, maybe it's my allergies. I popped the Benadryl, laid down, woke up, and the same thing. Like my vision was screwed. Like my depth perception was off. It took me a few days before the mother of my children told me, you need to go to the emergency room. And, you know, me, like, emergency room, why? It's okay. It'll be good. And give it a couple of days. So she pushed and pushed. And so I went to the emergency room, did some tests. And for lack of a better term, they said, hey, Mr. Key, you had a minor stroke. What? A stroke? Yeah. You know, while you were asleep, obviously you had a stroke. So it's like, hey, we're going to test all your levels. All my levels came back adequate. It was like, you know, no high blood pressure. I mean, no, you know, whatever number they had on the charts, I was good. Like I couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure it out. So that made it even scary. It wasn't like, hey, when I get home, I'm going to stop eating salt. You know, it was like, shit, we don't know what happened. You know, in 6 months, your eyes should come back to normal. Here's a patch to wear. So they sent me out of the hospital looking like a pirate. And I didn't know it was scary as shit. Like, damn, a stroke? Like, I'm not that old. A stroke? What the doctor can't be right. So I started calling all these specialists, ear, nose, eye, throat, like whatever. Like, hey, I need to get in. And this was during the pandemic. So like people were like, oh yeah, you can get in 4 months. I'm like, fuck, I might be about to die soon. And you telling me I can't figure out how this happened for 4 months? So I went to anybody that could take me and could see me. You know, I started doing some research on family history, seeing like who has strokes. You know, my dad told me that a couple of family members had Bell palsy. And I was like, this is Bell palsy. This is not a stroke. They don't know what they're talking about. I got on WebMD, which I don't suggest because like WebMD, have you going down a rabbit hole. It'll make you think you're about to die in 2 weeks. So anyway, I couldn't, I didn't know what to do. And so I worked for myself at this point. You know, I had a pretty good savings because I worked my ass off, but I almost worked myself into a grave. So all that money that I made, like, it was like, really, like, what is it if you're going to work yourself to death? That's the only thing I can figure is the stress of dealing with people, negotiating contracts, trying to do this, trying to do that, not hiring and scaling up as fast as I needed to, trying to be like the one superhero that ran every department. And, you know, that was the cause of it. Eventually, just to kind of talk, go to that. I talked to a neurologist. He told me, hey, you're fine. It should be good in 6 months. He told me basically what happened is there's 6 optical nerves in your eye. And one night, maybe because of lack of oxygen, I don't know, one zapped out. Pow. and it messed up your vision for a minute. And so your body's way of protecting itself is saying, hey, that eyeball is no good. We're going to just close up that eyelid for a bit until you can see better so you won't fall or crash. What did I do? I sat down for about 2 weeks, and then I put a patch on and I kept doing real estate. But at that point, I knew that, hey, you need to put more people in place to help this become easier. And if you want to still make good money, you need to take your price point and go to a higher price point. You could sell three $200,000 homes. What's that? $600,000? Or you could just sell one $600,000 home, and you can stop running around like a crazy animal. You can stop killing yourself. So again, that was another challenge that I had in real estate. I overcame it. As you can see, I think both eyes are pretty good, but I never forget. And so the one time when I said, hey, man, I made it. I don't have to pick up the phone, and business dried up. Sometimes you go back to what got you there. The one time when I was trying to be the all-time agent in my office and I damn near had a stroke, hey, it's not worth it working yourself to death. Work smarter, not harder. And so, putting systems in place, doing homework and studying on how to put systems in place, how to be okay to hire people, not trying to make all the money, Andre. Pay some people to do certain things, to make your standard of living that much better. Don't have to clean up your house. Hire some cleaners. Let them take care of that. Hire a contract to close person. Let that person take care of that. Hire some agents to show houses. Recruit agents to show houses for you. You don't have to do everything. And so I'm saying all that to say is that, hey, I went from, beliefs that I was going to be out on the streets to beliefs that, shit, I could go to sleep one night and never wake up again. Just because of me working for myself, trying to put myself in position. But you know what? I just stayed persistent. I overcame. And, am I finished with challenges? I don't think so. I think one thing I do know about life is that there are going to be good times, great times, and there's going to be not so great times. It's going to be a pendulum in your life. You're going to swing to great, hey, to damn. And as long as you can recognize that, you will learn how to ride the wave and understand that, shit, when I was riding with a patch on my eye, I'm counting down. It happened in December of 2020. I'm counting down. They said it'll be better in about 6 months. I'm trying to exercise my eye. I'm trying to do things. And I realized that eventually 6 months is going to pass no matter what I do. And 6 months passed and my outlook changed and my vision came clearer. And, I struggled at one point, but then the sun came out, and so that's what I do know about life, man. It could be, you can look at a cloudy day and consider it a horrible day. To me, I'm looking at it, oh man, it's cool. I like this breeze. It feels good on a cloudy day. Or things can be happening around you and you can just be like, oh shit. You just know that, hey, this is one of those challenges. Because guess what? If I just keep doing the work and keep doing the habits and the activities, I'm going to swing out of this, bad pendulum swing. And I don't even call it bad because it's just a way of life. The sun will come out and the sun will go down. It's just going to happen. The harvest that you plant will yield, the seeds that you plant will yield some harvest. Some years it'll be a great harvest. Some years the harvest will be small. Some years you'll have a drought and the harvest will hardly be anything. But guess what? One thing is for certain. Two things for sure. Or however that saying goes. That the harvest is going to be plentiful again if you keep doing the activities to do, what to have it grow. And that's my story, So again, for future agents, future bosses, I don't want to ever say that things are easy. And again, like I said, challenges never stop. But as long as you know they'll come, hell, as if you have mentors that can tell you, because best believe any challenge that you've been through, somebody else has been through it. And if you can talk to that person and figure out like, hey, what did you do? And how did that happen? Like, you can prepare yourself for certain challenges. You don't want to sit around waiting for bad shit to happen in life. Oh, it's coming. Oh, shit, it's going to be a storm. You don't want to live like that. You want to live that every day is going to be a fruitful day, adventurous day, a turning point in your life. Live like that. But when the challenges come, just know that you're going to come out of it. Like, it's only natural. And, and if you could foresee the challenge before they come and be prepared for it, the easier you can take it, So that's my story for the day. Hopefully it inspires someone to understand. I mean, people are going through stuff every day. People go through things every day, B, like they say. I mean, there's going to be some challenges. Somebody's going through something way worse than what I've been through. And I just want to let them know and want them to hear that, hey, keep your head up, keep churning, keep doing the habits that got you on the top. Keep that up, because you'll be on the top again. And if you maxed out your potential with one thing, don't be afraid to switch to something else and max out your potential in that. Just keep doing the habits. Hold your head up. Pay attention to your intuition. Follow that. And get the things that you deserve out of life. So to wrap it up, another episode of Boss Up with Mr. Key, the philosophical edition. Again, like, comment, subscribe, follow us, share this, and until next time, enjoy your summer.